Alright hockey fans, welcome back to the channel, where today we're talking about some of the nastiest, most brutal hits in NHL history. These aren't just your average body checks, we're talking hits that sent players flying, changed games, and sometimes even careers. Let's relive some of the most unforgettable moments of pure destruction on the ice. First up, we gotta start with a classic. Scott Stevens' hit on Eric Lindros during Game 7 of the 2000 Eastern Conference Finals. Scott Stevens was the definition of a punishing defenseman, but even Stevens himself would admit this hit on Lindros was something special. In one split second, Lindros gets caught in the open ice, and boom! Stevens crushes him with a clean, perfectly timed hit. Lindros goes flying, and his career never really recovered after that hit. It's one of those moments that you can still hear the impact even years later. Why is this iconic? It wasn't just a hit. It was a turning point in the series and the beginning of Eric Lindros' concussion issues. The hit was so perfectly executed, and it was one of those moments that everyone remembers. Alright, so let's rewind to February 20th, 2007. Things are about to get wild. It's Umberger and Campbell, both in the middle of the ice, throwing some serious shoves before deciding to just drop the gloves. Umberger kicks things off with some punches, then a couple of uppercuts, but Campbell's not backing down. Umberger then pops off a left jab and a left hook, but Campbell ducks under it. Umberger pulls Campbell's jersey right over his head while he's still bent over. Complete chaos. Finally, the linesmen swoop in and break things up, ending the fight. On top of all that, Umberger gets tagged with an instigator and misconduct penalty for his troubles. Next, we have one of the hits that shook the hockey world. David Steckel versus Sidney Crosby in the 2011 Winter Classic. If you're a Pens fan, you know this one stings. Crosby, coming off an MVP year, is skating up the ice when Steckel delivers a clean but devastating hit right to Crosby's head. Crosby's out cold, and the hit would mark the beginning of a long and tough road back from multiple concussions. Why is this hit iconic? Well, because it was one of those what-if moments for the hockey world. If Crosby hadn't gotten hit, who knows how much more dominant he could have been. Dmitry Orlov of the Washington Capitals absolutely lays out Matt Duchene of the Colorado Avalanche with the most perfectly timed hip check. At first, it was a little scary, seeing someone get flipped in midair and slammed down on the ice. But once we knew Duchene was okay, you could really appreciate just how incredible that hit was. This was one of the hardest, cleanest hits ever seen in hockey. Duchene was skating full speed, which is probably why he got sent flying like that. Seriously. It looked like he almost went headfirst into the ice, and it could have been way worse. But Orlov didn't do anything wrong here. He just perfectly timed that hip check as Duchene was entering the offensive zone. And next thing you know, Duchene's soaring over Orlov and nearly doing a full flip. Scary, but awesome. Next, we're talking about one of the most ugly hits in hockey history. Claude Lemieux on Chris Draper in 1996. This wasn't just a huge hit, it was a dirty, vicious, and malicious hit. Lemieux checked Draper from behind into the boards, and Draper's face just cracked against the wood. He was out cold, his face a mess, and it led to one of the nastiest rivalries in hockey history, Detroit versus Colorado. Why is this one iconic? Because not only did it spark the legendary Red Wings-Avalanche rivalry, but it also created a ton of bad blood. The hit was dirty, Draper was seriously injured, and it made everyone in the league take a second look at how dangerous hits from behind could be. Let's talk about one of the most controversial hits on the list, Matt Cook on Mark Savard in 2010. Cook comes flying in and blindsides Savard with a headshot that knocks Savard unconscious. It wasn't just a bad hit, it was dirty, and ended up leading to Savard being sidelined for a long time. This led to a huge shift in how the NHL looks at headshots. After this hit, Cook was suspended, and the NHL began cracking down harder on hits to the head. Now, let's talk about a hit that left the hockey world in shock. Chris Pronger's elbow to Dean McAmmond during the 2007 Stanley Cup Finals. Pronger caught McAmmond with an elbow to the head, knocking him out cold. It wasn't just a tough hit, it was a straight-up dirty play. McAmmond was knocked out, and Pronger didn't even get a major penalty for the hit. It's one of those moments that got fans talking about the fine line between physical hockey and dangerous hockey. This one was brutal. Zdeno Chara's hit on Max Pacioretty in 2011. Chara, at 6'9", delivered a crushing check to Pacioretty, sending him into the turnbuckle head first. Pacioretty was out cold and rushed to the hospital. It was one of the most frightening hits you'll ever see. Alright, let's keep it rolling with another nasty one from 2015. TJ Oshie versus Ryan Callahan. Oshie comes in like a freight train and levels Callahan with a body check that leaves Callahan completely out of it. The impact was so strong that Callahan had no chance to defend himself. It was one of those hits where you just cringed as soon as you saw it. Midway through the first period of a game between the Nashville Predators and Florida Panthers, Jordan Tootoo absolutely demolishes Michael Frolik. Now, Tootoo wasn't just any player, he was one of the toughest guys around, and we all knew he could lay the body. But this hit, it was on another level. Tootoo, known for his bone-crushing hits, catches Frolik along the boards with a massive, clean check. Everything came together perfectly here. Timing, speed, balance, and raw strength. Frolik gets sent flying, and suddenly, he's the guy who got rocked in one of the most highlight-worthy hits of all time. Fans are still talking about it, and even the NHL crowned it the #1 hit of the year when it happened. Definitely one for the books. And there you have it, 10 of the most brutal, jaw-dropping hits in NHL history. Some were clean, some were dirty, and some changed the course of careers. Whether you love the physical side of the game or you're more into the finesse, these hits show just how intense and wild hockey can get. Let us know in the comments which hit shocked you the most. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more epic hockey content.